The Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 7th place in the Central Division after 25 games. They have a record of 7-12-6. 20 points has the Predators 16 points shy of first place Minnesota. Update the latest Central Division standings here in just a moment. But the Predators' next game will take place in Toronto, so that's on the road. Their road record on the season is 2-6-4. More overtime losses than regulation wins on the road this season. 58 goals for on the season, 79 goals against. Is a goal differential of -21. Now, before we get into the Preds and the Leafs, let's talk about the Central Division and the latest standings. The Minnesota Wild have overtaken the Winnipeg Jets at the moment with 36 points now in 24 games played, while Winnipeg has 36 points in 25 games played. That's the first time we've seen a shift at the top of the Central Division in 20-plus games. The Dallas Stars are in third place with 30 points. Colorado Avalanche in fourth with 26. Then you'll find Utah at 24, St. Louis at 24, the Preds at 20, and the Chicago Blackhawks in 8th and last place in Central Division with 18 points on the season. The Predators, once they get back on the ice on Wednesday night in Toronto, well, they are back to action, and a lot more of it coming Thursday. They will be at Montreal, so another back-to-back coming up with the Preds, and Saturday in Ottawa. Back home for a one-night stand against the Calgary Flames on the 10th of December. Immediately back on the road on the 12th against Dallas, and on the 14th at Colorado. So an Eastern Conference road trip, one game at home, and then a Central Division road trip coming up for the Preds and Leafs. It's the first time they've met this season. They'll do that one more time unless some magic happens where they meet in a Stanley Cup finalist. First of only 2 times these two teams will see each other this year. It will be March 22nd when the Predators host the Leafs here at Bridgestone Arena. For the Leafs, their overall season record, 14-7-2, very good. 30 points is second best in the Atlantic, pushing for first place overall. 10-3-0 on home ice is a very strong record. They've scored 70 goals for. They've given them 60 goals against. It's a goal differential of +10. In their most recent stretch of 5 completed games, and due to the Predators being on a bit of an extended break at this moment, the Leafs will play Monday versus Chicago, so I'm going to review their most recently 5 complete games. On the 16th of November, it was a 4-3 overtime win versus the Edmonton Oilers. On the 20th, it was a 3-0 win versus Vegas. On the 24th, a 3-2 win versus Utah, and then a couple of road games squeak in here. The first on the 27th, a 5-1 loss at Florida, and then a 5-3 win at Tampa Bay. So splitting the road trip down into Florida, coming back home to face off against the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday night, before welcoming the Preds in on Wednesday. The NHL ranks between these two teams at this moment to preview this game. Goals for the Predators. They have sunk back to last in the league again at 32nd overall, 2.32 goals per game, while the Toronto Maple Leafs are averaging 3.04 goals per game. That's 15th best in the league, right there in the middle of the pack. Predators are giving up 3.16 goals against per game. That's 21st in the NHL, while the Toronto Maple Leafs, impressively, are only giving up 2.61 goals per game. That is third best overall in the NHL. Leafs have another top 10 statistical metric right here in the shots on goal category. 29.9 per game is 9th best in the league, while the Predators averaging 29.4 is 14th best in the league. Leafs also ahead in the shots against category, but both teams in the bottom third of the league. 29 shots against per game is 21st rated for Toronto. The Nashville Predators are giving up 30 per game. That is 25th overall in the NHL. When it comes to special teams, the power plays are in a very similar position right here with similar statistics. Preds at a 20.8% conversion rate is 16th best in the NHL. 16 conversions, 77 opportunities on the season. The Leafs are at a 20% conversion rate, 17th in the NHL, and they have converted 15 times on 75 opportunities. Told you, very similar stat lines right there on that power play. On the PK, the Predators are considerably ahead, as they are of all clubs currently. Best overall penalty kill in the league, and they have maintained that spot for quite a number of days this season. 89% is the kill rate. There's first in overall in the NHL, and they have given up just 9 power play goals against this season. The Toronto Maple Leafs, respectable penalty kill as well. 81.5% is their kill rate. That's 8th best in the league. They have given up 15 power play goals against. When it comes to the individual statistical leaders and scorers for each team, we like to single out the top 5 for each team, and then your potential goaltender matchup. But again, with the Preds having a couple of days off, making a trade, and the Leafs having a game in between when this show is recorded, I do not actually know what the goaltending matchup is, so I just want to go ahead and make sure you understand that. Marner leads the Leafs in scoring at this moment with 9 goals and 22 assists for 31 overall points. Nylander's at 15 goals and 10 assists for 25 points. Tavares 10, 11 for 21. Nyes is at 9 and 5 for 14, and Riley's at 4 goals and 10 assists for 14 points. So the top 3 scorers for the Toronto Maple Leafs, well, no, the top 2 scorers only would be the top scorers both for the Nashville Predators. Captain Roman Josi has taken over the scoring lead and is putting some separation there for the Nashville Predators at 7 goals, 15 assists for 22 overall points. Philip Forsberg has really gone into a pretty bad drought. There was a point in time where Philip Forsberg was into the teen games of the season, averaging a point per game, but now only 9 goals and 8 assists for 17 points. Doesn't seem all that impressive considering the drought that he's been in now in the last 10 games or so. O'Reilly's at 5 and 9 for 14. Stamkos at 7 goals and 6 assists for 13. Marchessault 4 goals and 8 assists for 12 total points. UC Saros' updated statistics are a record of 6, 10 and 5, 2.62 goals against average, 911 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. So again, the record is no good, but the rest of the numbers are pretty reasonable. 2.62 and a 911 save percentage for a team that's in 7th place and performing so poorly as the Predators are offensively. UC Saros is actually keeping them in a lot of these games. Stolars, after the most recent stretch of action, 7-4 and 2, 2.33 goals against average, and 921 save percentage, 1 shutout on the season. That got you all set up for the Nashville Predators going into Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs. Snowy weather back here in Nashville as the Predators exit Nashville and head on up to Toronto to begin this road trip again. Back-to-back Toronto, then Montreal Saturday, and Ottawa, then the Preds back home on the 10th. We have the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We got to go back to Minnesota on a Saturday night and find out what happened between the Predators and the Wild. It's coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.